Alright, so that was just the first half of the video. Now I want to discuss what our best options are as far as turf or natural grass, or what type of turf, if we go turf, all of that type of stuff, because the Redskins have not had one of the best fields lately, or ever. And players definitely talk about these type of things. And I definitely want our field to be the best field for avoiding injuries. And not even just for our players, but for all players. I'm tired of seeing people get hurt because of field-related injuries. Also, if your grass or turf isn't soft enough, getting thrown to the ground like a quarterback would takes more years off of your career because you're just constantly getting thrown into a hard surface. So I want to start by talking about what the Redskins currently have. The Redskins currently have what they call latitude 36 Bermuda grass, and so far it has not done what we've wanted it to do. We definitely have one of the worst fields in the league. I know y'all remember that 49ers game when it rained. That was terrible. The last play of the game after the 49ers secured the win, they were just slipping and sliding everywhere. First of all, that was embarrassing for us. Second of all, you shouldn't be able to do that on a field. Also, I'm seeing that the Redskins have the 26th rated field according to this survey, which is one of the worst. So apparently other people feel like our grass is terrible too. And there's reasons. In 2017, we had a myriad of injuries. You got to think about it. It might not just be that terrible training staff we had. I'm pretty sure they're a huge part of it. More than likely most of it. But our turf definitely has something to deal with all of our injuries as of late. Even Kirk Cousins said it. He said in 2017, quote, "It probably doesn't look like a professional NFL field should." And that was during the Thanksgiving game. He also went on to say, "If you think the field is rough now on Thanksgiving, we've got 2 more home games in mid to late December, and that's probably going to be an even bigger challenge." And around that time, other Redskins players were hitting social media talking about that the Redskins need to switch to an artificial turf. The grass that the Redskins are currently using have a bad reputation, and most importantly amongst Redskins players. And that's who you need to focus on satisfying the most, especially when it comes to their health and their careers. So Redskins, this latitude 36 Bermuda grass is not working. We need to consider a change. And like I said, along with the jerseys and helmets that I want changed, I want the turf changed not only for just health, which is the most important part, of course, but I just want this new era of Redskins football to start completely over. We started over with a lot of the coaching staff, with a lot of the front office. We may be starting over with a lot of the roster. We'll see. So I feel like we need to change the jerseys, the helmets, the color designs, all of that, and the turf. We need to just go ahead and go futuristic with everything. Now I want to talk about what players prefer, which is information we found out through surveys and all kinds of stuff. In a 2010 survey, which is long ago enough for this to not exactly be accurate, but you know what I'm saying, it wasn't like it was in the Stone Ages, it was 10 years ago, but they found that the majority of NFL players preferred natural grass over artificial turf. And the Redskins do have natural grass. 82% said that they thought artificial turf triggers more injuries than natural grass does. So the Redskins must be the outlier of this, because we have natural grass and people hate our field. So they must just not be doing the natural grass right. So in the same survey, NFL players ranked the Arizona Cardinals University of Phoenix Stadium as the league's best grass, and the Pittsburgh Steelers Heinz Field had the worst grass, according to players. And then in the same survey, the Indianapolis Colts Lucas Oil Stadium was ranked number 1 as the best turf, and then the Minnesota Vikings Stadium, which is now closed, the Metrodome, which lets you know how long ago this survey was done, was the worst ranked turf. And also dating back to 2010, to get more specific about the turfs, like I said, they voted Indianapolis as the best turf, and the New York Giants and Jets as the second best turf, and both of them use field turf. That's a type of turf. New Orleans uses UBU Sports Turf. They're number 3, but then number 4, Seattle, also uses field turf. So 3 of the top 4 votes use field turf. So there must be something to it. So if the Redskins consider moving to a turf, it looks like field turf may be the best type of turf to get. Now back to whether players prefer turf or grass. 89.7% of players said that artificial turf is more likely to shorten their careers, and 89.1% said that they are more sore after playing on synthetic surface. And 82.4% said that fake grass is more likely to contribute to injury. Just to get a little bit more specific. But to get even more specific, it probably depends on which position you are, which type of field you prefer to play on. Because Troy Polamalu, when asked, said he loved playing against teams in Pittsburgh, which was rated the worst stadium amongst all NFL players. He said it's because I could guard Marvin Harrison in 5 inches of mud and rain and wind, but put me against him on turf, and it's a different story. So basically, a DB like Troy Polamalu prefers grass when player movements are more restricted because the ground is slushier and not more of an even-keeled surface. Whereas most other players prefer the softer surface because they're less likely to get hurt on it when they fall and all of that. And then there are a lot of players who are like JJ Watt who really just don't care either way. JJ Watt literally said, I'd have some objections if we were playing in a parking lot. Basically saying he doesn't care if it's artificial grass, turf, or whatever, natural grass, as long as it's just not in the parking lot. So some people don't care and don't notice the difference. So not everybody is just strongly opinionated on whether they prefer turf or grass, just to throw that in there. Now, what has statistically caused the most injuries in the past? One study by the NFL showed that certain serious knee and ankle injuries happen more frequently on the field turf than most people liked, and is the most popular brand of artificial turf. But this was part of that 2010 survey. Meanwhile, since then, later on, Field Turf did its own study, and it showed that college football players suffered up to 20% less injuries on their field turf surfaces than on the natural grass within that certain span that they studied. They claim that new generations of artificial turf were developed to duplicate the playing characteristics of natural grass, and in fact were safer in many cases than natural grass. So basically, since that 2010 study, they've been developing better turf, more efficient and safer turf, which has led to field turf possibly being safer. Now, Football Outsiders did their own study as recent as 2017, and a lot of their data shows that natural grass is actually the best solution when it comes to injuries. Right here you have knee injury per 1,000 AEs by visiting teams from 2012 to 2015. Natural grass has the lowest injury rate for knees. Then for ankles, it's somewhere in the middle, right along the average. And then for foot injuries, it's right along the average also. But looking at it, for the most part, field turf has caused more injuries than natural grass when it comes to knees, ankles, and foot injuries. And momentum turf is even worse. Momentum turf is literally the worst for ankle and foot injuries. And A-turf is worse when it comes to knees, according to data, but better when it comes to ankle, and far better when it comes to foot injuries. But in conclusion, what Football Outsiders found was that natural grass at its best is better against injuries. If you're gonna take care of it, if your weather permits it, if you're not in a very humid area, if you're not in a very cold area. Basically, natural grass has the highest potential for safety. But if you have very weird and different circumstances, then field turf is the safest because its value doesn't change when conditions change. Whether it be colder, if it's more humid, if it's hotter, turf surfaces stay the same no matter what. So they're the safer bet. But which one is safer at its best condition is easily natural grass. So if you're willing to put in the money, the time, and the effort to take care of natural grass and to really make sure that it's at its best quality and potential, the natural grass is the best answer, Redskins. But if you're going to be lazy about it, then just go ahead and go with field turf. But ultimately, at the end of the day, please get natural grass and please take care of it. Make sure, Dan Snyder, you put a real budget towards it. Don't be cheap and get us natural grass and make sure that it's taken care of the right way. And if you need to, do what Houston does with their tray system, where they're able to take the grass out and take care of it off site and then bring it back for game day. That system seems to bring about the best results. So Dan Snyder, stop being cheap and go ahead and get natural grass. And if you're not, go ahead and get the best turf there is available, which looks to be possibly field turf, or depending on how you look at it, that A-turf did its thing. But field turf is the most popular, probably for a reason, and also one of the highest rated field surfaces which is where they hold the scouting combine in Indianapolis, which has to be for a reason. But either way, whatever we're doing is not it, so go get one of those options. Natural grass that you're willing to really take care of, or field turf, and get the most up-to-date version of it. Now that may not just be enough. Along with whichever field surface you choose to go with, Dan Snyder, make sure your Redskins players have the best cleats for them. If you're gonna go turf, more than likely field turf, it looks like the Under Armour Nitro Wides are the best cleats for it. The NFL Musculoskeletal Committee, I hope that's how you pronounce that, did an extensive research on athletic shoe safety and performance. The committee has developed and performed laboratory tests that evaluate which cleats best permit release from synthetic turf during certain situations. And the results are right here to the left. And it looks like Under Armour is just in a class of its own. They have the top 4 performing cleats. Adidas has the next 2. And then the Nike Vapor Wides are in 7th place, but Under Armour alone holds the top 4, with their Nitro Wides being the best, the Spine Wides being the 2nd best, the Nitro 3rd, and then the Charged being the 4th. So it looks like if the Redskins want to produce the best results when it comes to safety and finally fixing our injury problem, which has been like the league's worst over the past 3 years, each of the past 3 years, not even just total, but literally we've been the most hurt team each of the past 3 years. It looks like y'all need to invest in Under Armour cleats, specifically the Under Armour Nitro Wides. I know they may not be the most fashionable. I know everybody likes their Nikes. A lot of people like their Adidas, but Under Armour appear to be the safest. And right now, what I care about the most is y'all playing well and staying healthy, rather than how good y'all cleats look. Plus, if the Redskins go with the jersey designs and helmets that I suggested earlier, nobody will even care about your cleats because your jerseys and your helmets will be too clean. So go with the safest option, Dan Snyder, please. Whoever's in charge of all of that, please hear me out. But that's it for this very hopeful and research-based Redskins report. I really hope they decide to go with the jersey designs and helmets that I suggested and avoid the ones that I didn't like. And I also really hope that Dan Snyder makes the right decision on this field surface situation. Go with natural grass if you're really gonna make sure you take care of it to the best of your ability, or go with the field turf, the type that the Indianapolis Colts are using in their Lucas Oil Stadium for the scouting combine. Pick either one. Make sure whichever one you pick, you uphold that turf to its best potential and safety precautions, all of that. Dan Snyder, please do your team right. You've done right with the front office and coaching hires and all of that, and the different decisions you've made, firing Larry Hess, bringing in Ryan Vermillion, Rob Rogers, and especially Kelvin Wilk to help with the medical side and everything, and analytics and all of that. Please do your Redskins right, but making sure your players' safety is being held to a higher regard and concern. And just like I said, it's not just the field, it's also the cleats you provide your players. But please, y'all, get in them comments and let me know how y'all feel about which turf you hope the Redskins choose, which cleats you prefer that the Redskins choose, all of that. Make sure y'all like this video if you liked it. If you learned anything, please subscribe. Like I said, I'm coming with endless Redskins videos, very random topics like this one I just discussed. All of the draft talk, even if you're not just a Redskins fan, the draft talk is going to keep coming. And I'm going to start bringing more live streams. And again, please get in them comments. Make sure you share the video wherever you share videos. And most importantly, like I said, please subscribe. And again, thank y'all for the support. I'll catch y'all later. I'm out.